Hmm. Hi. Is there a crackle everywhere? Or gone? Oh, good. Test it. Is it crackling? No, not anymore. Good. I'm leaving the song on though. I like it. Right. Where's my controller? It's a good start. You okay? I found it. Ugh. Oh, I need to shut things. I know it's not sleep talking, but it's catchy. Right, hang on. I'll go on to the thingy thing. Thingy thing. Shut you down. Is that crackling? I'm now concerned that there's going to be so many crackles. So you know how you set your Spotify up and it's meant to be through the same executable and stuff? Mine keeps fucking about. And I'm unimpressed. And it needs to go fuck itself. No crackle. I know you've said it like loads of times, but I'm checking. Sorry. You okay? I kind of enjoyed just doing the optionals, so I'm going to keep doing the optionals. Because I want to. Okay. I've got a hair on my eyebrow. And it's pissing me off. Oh, well. I got it. It's fine. Disaster averted. Oh. Yes, I did. It's fine. I was making sure I opened the doodad. Do hit your doodah. Back. Welcome back. We missed you. Quest. Gotta do them first. So I've kind of left my laptop upstairs with everybody tabbed up on it. Oops. But I've got them tabbed though. So at least there's that. Oh, this one's a pain in the bum. Should we do this before anyone else turns up? We'll just do it before anyone else. Fine. I should really like copy and paste me whole I've gone live into other people's things. But I can't be bothered. I will leave them. They will be fine. They're upstairs on the bed. I'm going to end up tying my hair up in the next half hour. I can tell it's irritating the back of my head. Because I've now got me undercut shaved back in. Anyway, I've got me undercut shaved back in. So like it's all nice and smooth and stuff. Well, I say smooth. You know what I mean. But now my hair's irritating my head. So give it about half an hour, the chopsticks coming out. Right. And I've got a flyweight that's going on my eyebrow, and that's also pissing me off. I'm having such a good time right now. I know. I do. It's a very handy way to tie your hair up. It looks cool when you take it down, you do the whole swishy swish. Well, in your head you think it looks cool. In reality, you probably look a lot different. Sort of like when you're drunk and you think you're pulling Beyonce moves, but it turns out you actually look like Tinky Winky. You know? Okay, mine's a different... Yeah, I know. Stop it. Hi, Terry. How you doing? Right, take you, take you. I don't know why, because we're only going for some meat. Need that. Yeet! Oh, is there a special one? No. Fine. Be like that. How are you, lovely? Oh, stop it. This is because someone else was on the PlayStation earlier. Go away. Drink this. Oh, why are there lizards in here? There's not normally. Go away. Nobody cares. The delayed Phasmo event on Xbox. Oh! What's the event? I feel like it's darker in here. Is it darker in here? I'm normally blinded by my own skin right now. No. No. Oh, lump of meat. Oh, do you know what? I had one job. I was going to do it without killing you, but no. Had to be a dickhead. That is loud. Hallowed Ground Easter event. And my duo is PC. So he has an update. And I don't. Now I can't play with them because mine hasn't updated. Oh! Well, that's bollocks. I did. Oh, for the love of. Go away. I did it before and I'll do it again. I believe her. 100%. If I drop this because you motherfuckers, I'll kill you all. Swear God. Made me drop my croissant. Leave me alone. I'm all for funny ha-has, as I call them. Funny ha-ha. I mean, to be fair, I died, like, obviously, a lot when you were playing. But I went back on later, and I died 4 times in a row, 3 times in a row. And that was without any form of cursed object. I went the wrong way. They obviously like the redhead, you know what I mean? I deserve that one right, may I? Hello, Mr. Maxwell. How are you? Can we do some shouties, please? I know I should have. I know. I was gonna be bloody saying. I'm like, why did that not pop? You've got to give it a couple of seconds. Because it's a pain in the arse.
Don't mind the green and the red on my coats. It's perfectly fine.
It is, 100%.
I feel like I should level up.
You should.
I just don't know. I should level up.
Ooh.
I mean, I could fight the boss and then just see what happens.
Okay, it did. Ooh. I was too tired to level up, that is fair. I need to watch the goddamn screen because I'm swinging at absolute fucking thin air here. Right, anyway. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. See, once that little thing there pops up, then the next shouty will go without a problem. Just so you know. I learned that the hard way. How I learn all my lessons. Like that one, I went the total wrong way. A lump of meat. But thank you guys, I appreciate you very, very much.
Dicks!
Dicks indeed. Not, nope.
Wow.
Agreed. Wow. Can you imagine how heavy that would actually be if that was a proper solid lump of meat? Jesus. What's that? I'm trying! I'm trying! I'm trying! What? I haven't done that in a while, so... thought I'd best go. That is fair. Well, that's why they're there. It's only when you come in and press like 15 off the fucking bat I've got a problem. Okay, that's a lie. It's only when certain people do it. It is darker in here than normal. I don't like it. Now it's even darker. Broke my damn light. Who would never do such a huh? What? Who? What did I miss? A lot, probably. It's me. Right, I need that plugged in there.
Seriously? That is f***ing ridiculous.
Yes, seriously. And I know it is. I'm sorry. Oh, now I've lost my doofer.
You are watching a master at work.
Fuck off. Damn it. Yes, I just broke another light.
Emotional damage.
You'll get timed out, motherfucker. You will get timed out. Now test me. There. No, don't like it too much. You're just gonna have to have a less light than normal, okay? Just deal with it. Oh, so I'm one of them people. Not normally.
A few moments later.
Don't you start. He's a naughty. Not in a good way. I'm innocent. Ah, hate. Stop it. What am I not start? You're not starting anything, no, mate. You're lovely. These buggers. Picking on us. Picking on us, I tell you. Ah, this isn't gonna work. Hang on. Right, just bear with us, okay? I fixed the light. Oh my goodness. I give up. I brought it on myself. I can't say shit.
Unacceptable condition. Unacceptable.
What you cry facing for? You're welcome, Nomad. Wow. Why the sad face? What's going on? That's too bright. My goodness, I just can't win. I quit. That's it, I'm done. No more. I quit. I'm done.
You can do it.
What, quit? I know. How are yous doing? Is everybody okay? Did you wash your ass today? Whoop! No, they dropped me a thing again. See, and then this light comes on and we're all blind again.
Just leave records and analysis to me.
I'm always here for emotional support when you quit. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know what we're getting for half of these, you know. I just know I need to do them. Ooh, a Legiana. Ooh. If you don't answer my question about why you've got a sad face, I'm going to text you until you do. You've been warned. A mix between an iguana and a leg, sort of. Sort of. That's not an answer. Great. Food.
Nice.
And then... what's it give us an option of? Ooh, flash pods. Poison. It was just hunt, wasn't it? I'm assuming so. It didn't give us a trap. Right. Ballista ammo. I'll angle it a bit differently. Whoop, wrong way. Legiana. The armor it makes reminds us of the ice lady in Black Clover. Come on then. Take that. And one of those. And a bit of this. Woo! And then yeah. Shit. The bed. Noelle. Yes, that's the one. I know she's more water than ice, but I'm gonna say ice. Mainly because I got them mixed up. Ow! Where are those fucking... there they are. Oh! Well, that was wasted. You could... I keep going to lock on. Like you did in Wilds. Get down, bitch. Whee! That looked painful. I wonder what we get from this one then. Could be the ice mantle. You can get a mantle that helps you, well, be protected from ice. Kind of self-explanatory, really. Spin to win, exactly. Woo! Not you, me! Jesus! Get out. Oh no! Whoop. Oh. Well, yep, we're going that way now. Do I have a null berry? No, because that would be helpful. God damn. If you could get down, that would be great. No? Oh, too far away. Oh, oh, oh! Yeah, motherfucker! Hi, how are you? Thank you for the follow before. How was the rest of your stream? Oh yeah. Get out my face. That's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. 2 wins. Well done.
You did it! You did it! I knew you would! I just knew you would!
Thank you, darling. To be fair, you could have me life if I didn't. We're currently doing low and high rank stuff. So, full permission to absolutely have my life if I fail. Not that you need permission, you'll do it anyway, but you know what I mean. I love those emotes. You think we could, like, shoot something else? Ooh, can we smash that? Smack that? No? Okay, fine. Didn't want to anyway. We're stuck! Would never make fun of you. He would. I would be very concerned if you didn't, to be honest. That's the bond we all have. It's how we express love. It's bullying. Oh, goodness gracious me. The hair will be getting tied up soon, I can tell. Would be concerned about Maxwell's health if he didn't. Exactly. See, Nomad knows. There's going to be an ad in 1 minute. Anyone that gets ads, just so you know. Because I still haven't changed that to 2 minutes. Because I'm good like that. Pro streaming who? Know what I mean? Should go talk to the research people, see what I actually get off some of these. We get something off a lot of them, other than just materials. Just sub, then you don't have to get ads, just saying. I mean, technically that's true.
Just leave records and
But you don't need to
analysis
sub.
me.
It's okay.
Splendid.
Do it! Splendid. Oh, we got points. Have I got any deliveries? Well, I've got plenty to do. I haven't got any things for it. Don't listen to her. Do listen to me. I am the owner of this house.
Hello.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Is it? A flying what? Oh, I call that a Beetlejuice. But you rent. I don't mean this literal house. I mean like this chat. My domain. Okay, maybe not of the literal house. But of this chat and of this certain channel. That is the boss. God damn it. The ads are starting. Oh! Wow, I went straight past them. Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay. I'll allow it. Thank you so much. How very gracious of you, sir. Oh, no! Blanket, go away for a minute. Go. Over here. Right. Fuck off. Now go.
Oh, hello there.
I did not expect that voice to come out of you. Damn. Gone in a flash. That's got to be a danger lamp thing.
Let's get the lead out.
It's a Kirin. Ooh, we haven't fought a Kirin yet. The dickheads. They're basically electric unicorns. Oh, yeah. Oops. Hang on. I almost forgot. Do 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 do. Excuse me, thank you. Oh, what do you want?
Well done.
Oh,
All right.
a bandit mantle.
Well now.
And nothing else. So we'll have a look at what they are in a second.
No problem.
Because I want to see. Do we have any new layered armor yet? No. Okay, what about master rank? Still need pure crystals. Not that I really know where to get them. I should really Google that. Hang on a minute then, what's this? Full bloom, joyful. Where's the spring ticket stuff? Or is it just high rank? Appreciation ticket. Winter, autumn. Oh yeah, it's only high rank. When you look like a flutterby. Me? Not very flattering on the chest area, like. Gotta say. I mean, it's not very flattering in general, but definitely not on the chest. Ooh, what? No. What, this one? Oh, we can make flowers. That's kind of cute. Can I preview it? Yes. Eh. I kind of like them. Everything is flattering. Hello, dear. How are you? How's your stream going? I still have you tapped up if your stream is still going. It's on the laptop. How are you? I mean, I know everything should be flattering. That wasn't really... That didn't suit her. Not very well. I want that. Because bitches love flowers. Oh, yeah. It's a shame I can't change colour. Palico. No, but I'm back, so please laptop me. Not a problem. I shall do that. You should still be up on there regardless. But I will ask my dear darling housemate to check. Do 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 do. Oh yeah, forgot about that. Sorry, give me 1 second, people. Prioritize. How do I do this? I've done it before. There we go. Okay. Done. Right. Bear with us. Because my hair's pissing us off now. Surely. Let's enjoy the view for a minute, shall we? Oh, I don't think so, motherfucker. Not today, Satan. Ta-da! Oh, feels so much better. Just a little thing of tying your hair up. See? Whoop. Actually, that's secured, actually. Yeah, fine. Apart from that little bit of hair. That was just felt. Nah. Okay. Shall we? You can tell I wasn't looking at the screen because I didn't realise we'd gone nighttime now. Okie dokie. Oh, I want to see what them things do first, don't I? So, Cleanse Booster is basically like antidote and stuff, or blights, or instead of a nullberry or a antidote. I never really see the point in that. The Bandit one causes monsters to drop rare trade-in items when you attack them. But our Palico currently has Plunder Blades. So we don't really need to do that. But they are handy to have. So it's nice to have them. Post. Optional. What we've got to do now. Oh. Okay. Looks like we're hunting a Kirin, people. You want to see the sparkly unicorn? Sorry, well, I fixed this stupid fucking thing. Let's go see the sparkly unicorn. Really thirsty. That one. I think. Do, 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 do. Da, 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 da. Sauce makes me hungry. Like every time. That looks good! I don't like the way they slop it down though. That's kind of disgusting. Know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No manners. Love that one-eyed catcher. Oh, the Meowscular chef's just amazing. He is amazing. Okay. What's it going to give us for a Kirin? Yeah, it's going to give us nullberries. I can try for a capture. Maybe's. Nope, not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Don't need that. Do need that, don't need that. No. Oh, okay. Well, I've got some capture stuff already. Handy. Dung pods as well. Ow. Trying to think of what we'll need. Where the hell did I get that many mandragora from? Flash pods. Oh, I need more flash pods. Shock trap, thank you. Do you want more trunk bombs? Just because it's an uneven number and I spotted it now. You can't have that. Okay, so we take 2 of them. Take 1 of them. Thank you for your patience. 1 of them. I can make 1 of them, so that's fine. Okay, should be good to go. Gonna get our asses absolutely fucking kicked. Kicked. Yay! Where... There it is. Right. Are these going to be Kirin footprints? Oh, I think there's... Now, to get to the Kirin, you have to climb pretty high. I love that potato! Grab some of that. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure. Where's that? Oh, there it is. Up we go. Now, if I had the glider mantle, I could just go along there and use that bit of whirling wind in the distance. Just be like, fucking young. Gone. Can you see it from here? Yeah, that. So if you got the glider mantle, you could use that to go all the way up there, which is exactly where we're going. We're just taking the scenic route. Come on, you can do it. I was going to say it did. There was blue. There was blue. Whoop. Whee! Ooh, not blue. Oh. Okay. Legendary. Ticks. Whoop, whoop, whoa, Pell. Pecunia tatters, we've got shit to pick up. Anyway, moving on. Yeet. Oh, some of it's fur. Really? Go down here, it said. All this for a sparky horse. God damn. It's gonna tell us to climb all the way back up that thing, innit? Oh, okay. Let you off. Oh, there it is. Good old sparkle farts. Where's the... Did I not pick up flash pods? Oh, you absolute bloody... Nah. Fine. Excuse me. Fucking yeehaw! My best place to aim on these, generally, is for the horn, because that's where it conducts all the electricity. And of course, it jumps around like an asshole, so. And does that? Who doesn't love that? That, oh, well played. No, can't do that. How the hell did that happen? Oh, thank you. Jesus. Right, that is because I need to use one of these. Bella. Right, you hoppy boppy bitch. No, can we hit that? Thank you so much. Good. Take that! Some of this! It's kind of got a bit of a lionish face, doesn't it? That was sheer dumb luck. See, that was less. What? Sort of. You okay?
Yeah, I forgot you were streaming. I was just coming to play something.
You what?
You left your computer on upstairs, obviously on other people's streams.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went past, I nearly had a heart attack.
stream on upstairs on the laptop in my room. She's walking past doing nothing, and someone is just, oh, thanks. It takes a minute to kick back in and I forgot. So, what she was saying is, because my laptop's upstairs with people on it, she was walking past and all of a sudden there was just singing. Came from my room. And she was very concerned because who the fuck's in my room and why is she singing? Where? Down there. And then I asked her to make sure she was on one-man circus. That's great. I can just picture her like slowly peeking into my room like, hello? How are you, my dear? How's it going? Right, you sparkly bastard. Don't like that, do you? Oop. Well, you might not mind that, because it's much easier to attack things on wilds than it is worlds. I've got to say that. Changing direction when you're full on Billy Elliot is just tricky. His horn looks familiar. Oh, dearie me. Excuse me, I am threatening. Don't you walk away from me. Granted, I am missing you 9 times out of 10 right now. Alright, that was just showing off. Being better, getting sick, and the mother-in-law's been moved to a hospice. Oh, dearie me. I'm sorry you're having a bit of a rough time, me lovely. I hope you feel better soon. What you limping for? Oh wait, I want to capture it, don't I? Let it limp, it's fine. And grab you. Adult hours now. I mean, this is true. And I don't mind a little bit of grown-up conversation, just as long as we keep it somewhat classy. And that's not for anybody that's currently in chat. We know who I'm on about. Not exactly how you would want your birthday weekend. Oh god, and it's your birthday weekend. Oh, bless you, Petal. No, it is not the way you'd want your birthday weekend to go. I hope it improves though, and I hope you still have a good birthday even though the current situation's a little bit not ideal. It's adult hours all the time with you. There's a slight point there, yep. Nullbury. I do hope it improves for you though, Pel. Where am I going? The wrong way. Is that what you're telling me? Yes. That thing's just so cute. Whee! I forgot about them. That would reduce the time. But you know what? It gave us time to be together. Or something. Right. I have a feeling a shock trap, not my best option. So... Pitfall. And then where's my trunks? Okay, so pitfall that way. Gotcha. Oh, I can't capture it, can I? Oh well, done that now. Hello, me lovely. I'm done for the day with Warzone. Ah, that is fair. Don't blame me. Uh-oh. It's mad. My weapons are blunt. You keep them occupied, Pete. Ooh, I am on the outskirts of that. Not quite far enough away. Wonderful. You're not going to fall in there, right? Nope. So if I think these are actually counted as like Elder Dragons, which is why I can't capture it, which sucks. I got work soon. I've been on it for the past 6 hours. Oh, Jesus. Were you successful? Did you have a good game? Take that, motherfucker. So yeah, there's the Sparky Unicorn. Get some monsters. I'm pretty sure Omen lives on Monster, to be honest. Oh, could we get shouties for One Man Circus and Omen and... I can't remember if Shadow streams. I'm sure I've asked you before, Shadow. Not yet, that's it. We will eventually. Talked about trying. I mean, you need to do a computer first. That's the one. To be fair, I've got a memory like a goldfish. Thank you, darling. God damn.
Double kill. Enemy slain.
Just watching a stream and playing a game sometimes maxes my setup. Ah, no, that is fair. That is fair. It did work. Well done. Yeah, I think the second one might have been a tad, either a tad early or it's just been an arsehole. Need a space. Should get there. It's okay. You go be busy. I'm just letting her know. I know. Maxwell's like, good Terry. That's okay. We've done it now. You're fine. And thank you very much. I appreciate you both greatly. I mean, I appreciate you all. But I've got top mods. We have to admit. I do. To be fair, I wouldn't be able to game on a PC and stream at the same time on this thing. She old. Oh, ecological. That's not you, is it? That's you. Hello.
Greetings.
Closest I come to streaming has been on my buddy's stream when we do drunk horror. Ooh. What drunk horror games do you play? And who is your buddy? I need to review some of the Warzone footage. Some of it was brutal fair. Drunk horror. I knew Terry would be on there. Drunk horror, you saying?
Thanks.
Ah, Thunderproof Mantle. There we go. 2 guesses what that does. We've only done it a couple of times. We played Devour last time. I don't think I've heard of that one. I told him I don't do horror, so I have to drunk play horror. Oh, see? Terry would love drunk Phasmo. See, I don't know if I could do drunk Phasmo. I like Phasmo, which I'm surprised that I actually like Phasmo. Speaking of drunk, I'm just gonna get drunk as I've had enough. Oh god. Okay. Are you okay? Like, what? I was giving my enemies cuddles before giving them a little shivering. Well, at least you were friendly about it. So we came up with the idea that every time I die, I take another shot. So I got really drunk. Oh, I mean, that would do it. Is this an open lobby? It is not, I'm afraid. Welcome in, though. How are you doing? Had a feeling you'd like it. It's just kind of chill and chaotic. So yeah, I was a bit nervous because I have seen some jump scares on it. I know I'm a terrible, terrible person. But yeah, I've seen some jump scares on it, so I was a bit like, oh, because we all know I'm a bit of a wuss. No, you're not. Alright, calm down. Are you far into this game? I'm just gonna call you Pog. Do you remember I don't know, I might be showing my age now. Do you remember Pogs? They were mint. I had loads. Absolutely loads of Pogs. You still have them! Oh my goodness. Devour's a 4-person game where you try and collect items to perform rituals with a demon-possessed lady hunter. Oh, skip. Pass. No ta. I had some really rare and expensive ones. I probably did, but I've never been good at collectibles. Like, all of my Funko Pops are out of their case on a shelf because I don't give a shit. Hello, Sinful. How are you, me lovely? Oh, it's an angry Clifford. This can be fun. Stay still. I'm not very good at the whole aiming thing. Ah, see? It dropped me. Woo! I'm good, thank you. I'm glad you're doing well. Woo! Thank you very much, I appreciate that. It is an angry Clifford. Thank you, darling. Oh, hang on.
What the fuck? What was that?
Don't know.
What was that last bit?
That is a wheeze. The way you said darling is kind of fine. Thanks. He's cute and his laugh's amazing. Oh, Sin's a little Gemini. Oh! I will eventually do an open lobby on this. Just for now, we're just like making our way through. Oh, he's awake. Oh. Excuse me. What a charming person. My laugh is awful. Everybody thinks their laugh's awful. There's always someone that absolutely loves it. Take this, you big red bastard. Oh, now that was rude. How very dare. Nope. Well, I actually literally went into their fucking closet, so... Whee! A chunky banshee. Oh, Chucky. I was like, a chunky banshee. That was me not reading properly. Will you stay still? It's like a friggin' toddler. Oh. Got your tail. Well, that was rude. I am a chunky banshee. Do you know what it is? I feel like I should get that on a t-shirt. Hashtag chunky banshees. Can we pirouette in the direction I need you to? Thank you so much. I mean, look at Jimmy Carr. I love his laugh so much. Cyber, who's your friend that has a Jimmy Carr laugh? Is Spence? I love his laugh. Spence, yeah, I thought. I love his laugh. No, wrong way, wrong way. Oh, you silly tot. Hello, how are you? Welcome in. I was going to say General Kenobi, but then my politeness took over. I love how I say my politeness as my hydration says cheers genitals. Hello. I will hydrate in 1 second. Spencer's laugh's amazing. I need him to join our D&D. Come on, you do. You do. Right, where's the... There it is. I'm doing good, thanks. How's hunts been so far? They've been good. Why aren't you... I pressed the button. Damn. Oh, see? See? Winning. 2 birds, 1 stone. Pew! Rather. Speak to the man. Right. Hydrate. I'm gonna hydrate with my cold coffee. Because I can. Oh, Terry, you might like this. Look. Can you read it? Can you read it? Can I turn it the right way? Is it gonna let you read it? I like my books spicy and my coffee icy. Isn't it cool? I thought you'd appreciate that. And thank you for the hydrate. Wife needs that cup. Every woman needs that cup. But yes, would you prefer Arc or Storm? But the hunts are going quite well. We're just going through optionals at the minute because we've done all of Worlds. We've got all the way into Iceborne. And I haven't got half the shit that we should have because I just skipped all the optionals because I'm good like that. So we're going through them now, which is why I am not dying. And I'm going to get overconfident because I'll be like, I haven't died in ages. And then we're going to get to a fight where I actually need to put some effort in. And translation, we're going to be in trouble. I totally appreciate that. It's the best. It's the best.
One subspecies left to
Ooh,
investigate.
Tailrated
Just
Safari.
leave records and analysis to me.
Hang on, did I not speak to the ecological person? I thought I did. We need to finish our D&D. We do? Who's the monster that'll cause us trouble? I'm probably not going to call them their proper names, just so you know. So, the high-level Kirin, probably going to cause us a problem. The Beetlejuice thing, definitely going to cause us a problem. The Danger Pickle, I think it's called the Devil Hole. We need to actually hunt that on here, because the audience has not seen it yet. And they just know me calling it a Danger Pickle. Blame Darcy's the one that's taking the piss. I'll talk to Essex. He's known for that. Danger Pickle is a dick with ST. Yeah! It's also a monster on here. That makes really questionable looking armor. But fabulous weapons. Fabulous. So what's everybody got planned for the weekend and stuff? I need to try D&D one of these days. I'm partially afraid that my tism will take over and I'll spend all my time reading the rules. And end up with a day of, what? That's fine. Christ. My tism takes over and I just get distracted by everything. Well, actually, it's the ADHD that takes over. It's all good. I call him Period Pickle because of the colour. Why Period Pickle though? Pickle, yeah, because he's green. I'm confused at the period part. Is he red and green? I can't even remember. It's been a while. I just stuck with Danger Pickle. Did I send them back out on a safari? I did not, did I? Better than people who play it ignorant. Exactly, see? No, when it's angry. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Fair. Fair. Oh, well, it's clearly going to have to be them, isn't it? Yes. Okay, so... what do I want to find? I'll think about it. Got a lot going on right now. And only know some basics. To be honest, I only know... well, I only knew what you basically get taught through Baldur's Gate, which is not exactly wonderful. And yeah, Amy didn't even know that. And it was still good. Minus the whole, like, lion mishap. Long story. I'm gonna go for that one. I watched Viva La Dirt League. That's all I know. You probably know more than me then. Never played D&D. It's cool. My D&D is barely even D&D. See? You just, it's just fun and it's creative. And you gotta be a goofball. And who doesn't fucking love being a goofball? With Fireball. My goodness. Or in my case, a really shite yet slutty druid.
One subspecies left to investigate. Just leave records and analysis to me.
Ooh. Ooh. I'm constantly a goofball. I need less goofballism. No, that's a terrible attitude to have. Yeah, Terry Joy. Rob is an amazing DM. Not gonna lie. I've never watched that, so I'll just have to take your word for it. Or, in my case, a bunch of fucking idiots trying to survive a zombie apocalypse. See, that would be cool too. I'd still be a slutty druid, though. Right. What's next? I still didn't find that ecological person. Rathalos, yay. Love that for us. Love it. Can you see how excited I am? Hi, Gizzy Moo. How you doing? No? No, I'm not. I'm unworthy of our time today. Okay. See how unworthy I am later when I've got the treats. Bitch. I think there's the other area. The other area. Oh, yeah, I've got, You mean the Iceborne area? We had someone who was a oh. There's certain things I don't expect to read. A chronic masturbator. You'd have to run off every now and then to let off some steam. And if he was successful, he'd grant inspiration on his next roll of post-nut clarity. Oh, that's fantastic. I love that. That's brilliant. You should have given him a superpower of, like, Spider-Man. And it could have been like a blinding thing. Yeah, if there's not at the base area, then they're in the DLC area. Yeah, yeah. I prefer the room you get in the DLC area. Like how it's bigger and you can decorate it more and stuff. I've got another save, because I've completed the game. But I didn't download my other save from the cloud or whatever the feck it's saved on. And that room is kitted out with every, like, rare creature that you can find. I went to town. To town on it. And then I forgot to upload it, so. Hello, darling. I'm not getting involved in that conversation. Take that! And one of those, and some of this. Not you! Evidently the dog got into that as well. Let me tell you something! I didn't pick up any flash pods. Shit. Well, that was stupid! Does that mean you captured all the rare moles in the Garden Lands area? I captured everything. As far as I'm aware, I captured everything. Ah, excuse me. Can we lock onto the... Thank you. I just hit Pete in the face. I'm so sorry, Pete. Poor little guy. Oh, and I didn't pick anything up. Well prepared. Well prepared. Duchess, hello. Move. How you doing? I better stop before I get told off. We've been trying to contact you about your car's extended warranty. Ah, see, there's the thing. I forgot to get the car. So... Do you know one of my favourite phone calls I've ever gotten from telemarketers was they were trying to contact me to talk about my fatal car accident. And I was like, oh God, no. Like... I can't remember what I said, but I had them on for about 20 odd minutes. And I was like, you do know what fatal means, yeah? They did not. Turns out, shocking. Very surprised I was to find out they didn't understand what fatal was. Look, I need to heal, bitch. God damn. I need some fucking flash pods. Dad went to work with a friend, so I'm sitting at the house all by myself. Oh! Are you at least having, like, a nice chill time? Get back here, you fucker. Whoop! Not what I meant. Oh. Well played. Ha! Take some of this. I still have to level up the Rotten Vale and Volcano areas to get these rare molds. If I remember correctly, it took us a while, but I played this religiously back in the day. Like, lots of hours went into this. You wouldn't think it, with my awesome gameplay. I answered a spam call once with, this is just... Wow. That is brilliant. I've done a you kill and we grill 'em one before. Did you all see that one clip where from the new where from the new space game where it was ooh, I should probably pay attention to the screen. Give us a second, sorry. Ooh, look what we can use. Fuck you, country farmer. I don't know about you, but I found that pretty fucking snazzy. Thank you. I know. Put your fucking weapons away, you're making us look stupid. Good tip. Thank you. Right, so, did you all see that one clip where from the new space game, there's a tail up there, isn't there? Am I gonna make it? I will eventually read what you've put, you know. The tail's gone. Never mind, I can read what you've put anyway. Where it was a distressed ship, and when you interact with it, it says, we've been trying to reach you about your extended warranty. No, but that sounds great. Battle lost material. Ka-chow! Hi-ya! Oh yeah. Ow. Woohoo! Now we're on the... I think we're starting the gold star stuff now? You got more repo clips. Ooh, fantastic. I love repo. I've got my sister to download it. Like, we need to play repo. She's easier distracted than I am, so it'll be fucking entertaining. Infuriating for most people. Entertaining for me. Heike! Thank you for the sub. I appreciate you. How are you doing? How's your stream? Whoever you've raided, I'll have clipped upstairs now. Clipped? Tabbed. Thank you, darling.
One
Aw.
subspecies left to investigate. Just leave records and analysis to me.
Yesterday. He stuck something in my butt and I didn't like it. I have blood drawn. Yeah, I've been moping around all day. I'm moping around all day.
No. Poor kitty cat. Oops. Too soon. I have a question. If people played this while being drunk... Hi, this? Like Monster Hunter? Oh yeah, I've played it both. I'll have to borrow my brother's PC when I get my mom's bed. Oh well, the pig's not my friend now.
Yeah, he would let you. He's really good about getting picked up and carried around like a baby and loves the attention and...
Aw, poor kitty cat. The stream was good then. I am glad. Have you got much planned with your weekend? Post new. Optional. Yeah, we're into the... Oh, sorry. Orange star. Hard to swallow. I think I might be hungry. Go eat. Go eat. So whatever day you want to do stream Repo, just send me a DM. I shall. I won't be able to stream it myself, but I'll be able to join you if you do stream. So I'll be able to do that. I could still accidentally press the send button and on an Uber Eats or something. Just saying. Just saying. Just. Oops. Lying in bed with sushi on my chest. Effort. Oh, fair. Fair. I mean, it is an unwritten rule if you have a cat lying on you, you can't move. What do you mean? Right, manage items. What the fuck are we going after? Lizard. Lizard. That's fine. We'll take that. Don't need that. I will stream it because I have so much fun in that game. Good. I will join you in your stream. Do I need anything else? Oh, I thought you meant actual sushi. No. Ads in 1 minute. Thank you. Right. Let us depart. Nope, the kitty. Speaking of, oh, do you know how I told Maxwell will know this one? I haven't told everybody else, obviously. So told Maxwell the other day. Griffin, got you, boo boo. Thank you. I appreciate you. Griffin has suddenly decided. Well, he's taught himself how to unhook the curtain pole from the top of the stairs and remove the curtain from the curtain pole once it's on the floor. And he now thinks this is the best game ever. The bestest of talents to have. So like multiple times a day I'm putting a curtain back up on the fucking curtain pole. He did it again today. And then he just sits there next to it like, look at me, I'm so fucking clever. And gets really confused when I throw a slipper towards him like, fucking bag it in. I'm a good pet owner, it's fine, don't worry. I miss, because I'm a shit shot. My last stream, I was playing with friends who never played Repo before. She went back and got clips. I just think Repo's class. I get picked on in Repo, but it's totally cool. It's fine. Oh, there he is! The Rasta lizard. Ooh, I deserve that. Because I forgot to eat. It has died though, like all the games. Play that for. I'd still play it. And I mean, to be fair, I think I don't give a shit if a game's died or not, I'll still play it. You can always find people willing to play. Woo! Excuse me, sir. Or madam. I just mean in popularity. Oh, yeah, I know. But it's like that. What's that one that you're playing right now? Schedule 1 or something. That's popular as fuck right now. Give it another month. I feel like it's rare that you get games that really stay popular permanently. Ooh. I mean, even really good games like Last of Us, Witcher, it still has a good viewing, but not half as good as it probably was at one point. Oh, when the TV show comes back out, it'll take another spike in hits. Both games. I see a lot of people playing it all the time. Oh wow, that was quicker than I expected. Oops. It's not quite as popular as it was when it first came out, though. It's sort of like I'm saying with that schedule thing. Like, when Repo first came out, every other stream on me Twitch was people playing Repo. Like, every other fucking stream. And now it's that schedule. It's still going to be popular with people playing it in general because it's a fun game, but there won't be just weeks dedicated to Repo like it was when it first came out. It's mad. Get used to that. Get used to what? Who? Like, if I currently had my PC, I'd be streaming it with my friend. Oh, yeah. I don't have PC, so I can't play any. I'm surprised they haven't brought it to console, to be fair. If they brought that to console and made it a cross-play thing, then I imagine it would be quite popular. All the funny ha-has would we had. Yes, they fucking would. But no, can you imagine if they actually made that game cross-platform? I realised I said cross-stream. I know what I meant though. Okay? But if they made that cross-platform, mint. Brilliant. Sign me up. Do you know what they have made cross-platform now? Baldur's Gate 3. Mm-hmm. So excited! Sorry, I forgot I made it. I'm just kind of upset because you have an Xbox controller, you can use it to play Repo. But I have a PlayStation controller because the controller fits better in my hands. Does it not let you use PlayStation controller? It's a bit shit. Isn't it just a little studio though? I think so. Which is a shame. But the amount that people have played it, you'd think that little studio could like convince somebody. Can't wait to play with her. I know! I'm so excited.
One subspecies left to investigate. Just leave
I'm looking
records
forward to our
and analysis
playthrough.
to
It's
me.
good. I'll try and hit the right barrel next time. I promise nothing. Sounds like a Steam setting. I mean, you'd think if they let you use one type of controller, they should let you use another one, but not necessarily. You could potentially get a universal controller. Like, just one that'll work in the PC with a lot of different games, but is shaped like a PlayStation controller. Xbox. That was so... What have I said now? I'm getting paranoid! Nope. It's Steam itself. They're like Microsoft better than Sony. Yeah, that's fair. It is normally a Steam setting. All mine were turned off. And for some reason, had to switch them on. All the barrel thing, that was funny. Like, right. For anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, in Cyber's stream, when we were playing Baldur's Gate 3, he's got it on honor mode, so if we fuck up, we're fucked. And my characters, I had my little Halfling Druid and Shadowheart, and it's a bit where you at the beginning of the game in Act 1, where you're underground and you've got all those people that you need. I'm trying not to give too much away, but the amount of people that'll actually know it. Just outside of where Withers is. And so he's being spotted, so I'm sneaking about. He's like, right, shoot that barrel with fireball and it'll explode. I knew which barrel he meant, but for some reason I aimed for the wine barrel behind it and it just burst and did nothing, and then we died because everyone survived because they just had wet feet. They weren't on fire. I have tiny hands. Xbox controllers are wider than the PS controller. I would look into a universal controller thing, because I'm sure they still do them. Post new quest. I love that. I laughed a lot. I mean, we died, but it was pretty fucking funny. Googly-eyed green monster. Okay. Should we start? We'll start here. Get a scuff or something. Use them on everything. Nope, not what I wanted. I mean, hopefully it is literally just a Steam setting thing, and you can use the controller you've got, but if not, it's gonna be hunting. Trying to get better repo, but hubby is like, what is this? Why'd you find this so funny? Because we're immature as fuck, okay?
No time for warming up, I guess. Hope you're ready.
Oh no! This isn't where I wanted to be dropped off. Oh, never mind, I lied. Yes, it is. Hello! Room service! Woo! Oh no, I poisoned myself. Cause I'm an asshole. Right. You can use any controller on Steam, even if the game doesn't support it. Because Steam has an override setting. Ooh. Okay, that's cool. I spent 30 minutes in pre-game on Repo laughing at the faces moving when they were talking. Yeah. To be fair, it's the big googly eyes, like the side eye that those characters can give is hilarious. Hi, Goobs!
You gotta grab life by the cake.
How you doing?
With no consent.
Oh. Alright. I know, a bit late. How are you? Welcome in. Hope you've had a nice Thursday. Just dandy. Fabulous. That's adorable. I'm just gonna be poisoned. It's okay. Don't worry. Wait, it's fine. Oh, too loud. Excuse me. There. Doggies! Where's my puppy? She's normally about. She's probably with Amy. She normally tries to get some screen time. Oh, no, she's behind me. I should have known. Ta-da! Oh, look at the puppy. It's so cute. Actually, that puppy needs a haircut. She's starting to look like she's out with 90s boy band. With a bit of curtains. Swing. It's a shame I can't speed this one up. See how far we can get, shall we? Oh. Ah. Close! That was bloody lucky, wasn't it? Wrong button. No, don't sell all. Take all. Yes. Ta-da! I played with my friend and they invited someone I've never talked to, and he laughed the whole round because we're just feeding off each other. I love that. I do love when that happens. I think I did that in one of the games that I had with Cyber and Repo. With I'm sure it was Spencer again, when we did the entire Harry Potter scene. And we sang Timon and Pumbaa. I also got Cyber shot because I stood behind him and screamed bogies while the blind farmer was there.
Species left to investigate. Just leave records and analysis to me.
Oh, we need to harvest. Okay. Friend was like, this moment I knew I fucked up. That's the best kind of games, I think. Reet. Oh, should we try and make friends with the pig again? Haha. Friendly pig. Now we pick up friendly pig and get some goodies. Let's go. Put down. Hello, Sledge. How are you? Tonight in Panda Pop Stream, we did optional quests. And it was great. Harvest. How you doing?
Huh?
Oh, I've got initials. Good. Better now that you've done the whole Big Brother deal. You're welcome. Right. Oh, yeah. Is there anything else I can cultivate? Got quite a few Mandragora now. How many have we got? Ooh, we can do... Oh, God bugs. Yep, need more God bugs. That can go where Sleep Herb is. Ooh, Flash Bug. That can go where the Mandragora is. Because we have 42 of them. And that's okay for now. Right. Fertilize. That one. Sweet. I got an itchy nose. I know I just said that, but it happened again. So. Do do do. There you go. I don't know why I had to sound like a pirate.
I'm kind of lacking in the wood department, you know? I don't like how that sounds.
No. Don't imagine you would. But
If I had a webcam, I'd...
now wait, that's not for that kind of website, right? There are other places to put that kind of stuff. I'm so glad someone clipped that though. You don't need to be sorry. I can do it. Oh, I went past someone. I knew that. You there. You're very welcome. He looks very Take That, doesn't he? That's very like the Johnson's baby tank top thing. I'm showing my age again.
Good luck.
Oh, I have that. Fabulous. It's Jaime Lannister. Even I heard it that time. It is a bit, you know, pre-accident. Before he got Luke Skywalker. Where am I going? Let's just go here. Oh, yay! The static weasel. Fabulous. Why does it take so... There's only me. Why does it take so long to load? Well, now it's doing it because I mentioned it. Reet. Oh, I just got something off you there, Duchess. Right, I want flash pods and not dung pods. Oops. Nope, didn't want to do that. Wanted to do that. Right, you can feck off, you can feck off. I keep you. Want that. Want that. I found the clip. Good. I will post it in my clips section as well. Because I forgot to do that with the last one, but I will. Because I've now got 2 of them. There we go. Flash pod. Should be it, shouldn't it? Will Kadachi? Ooh. Ooh. Maybe. Thunderproof mantle. Thunderproof mantle would be handy against a sparky bastard. Mm-hmm. Right. Kadachi. Can I find it on the map? Can I zoom out? Oh, that's it. I'm not answering that. It's not on the map yet. I've got it set to all. Fine. I'll go find the footprints myself. Wasn't sure which clip would play in with my shout out. So I was like, just gonna find it. Yeah. Don't blame me. My latest clip that keeps playing is one that our dear Harold created. Where I was fighting the big spider monster in Wilds. And because I'm not far from the TV, and the TV's quite sizable, when it charges at you in your face, and I like it. So I literally, like, closed my eyes and turned away from the TV. And I had no control over that movement. It was completely instinct. I was just like, nope. Go away, I'm not looking for you. I think... Yep, I want to be a bit further along here. Ooh, get off my neck. Bit of hairs fell out of the chopstick. And it tickled my neck and it wasn't nice. And I was just talking about spiders and it made us go... Also, lets me know I need to turn the sound up on my OBS. Ah, right, dear. If you ever need help with sound stuff, I know Ace is really good at it, and Raffi as well can be quite helpful with the sound stuff. I can help to a degree, but I'm not very computer savvy. I just kind of learn off what they tell me. Or Bearded, I suppose. Bearded's computer savvy. I literally just threaten to, like, whack it with something and it tends to work. Right, Kadachi, Kadachi, Kadachi. Oh, you're fine. Oh, I didn't eat. You're not that fine. Now you're fine. Kadachi? Kadachi! Nope. Hang on, she'll go get a friend. Hello, Ollie. How are you doing? I'm gonna have to get Raffi to help me. I mean, I could try and have a look at it with you, see what we could do, but you could ask Raffi, yeah? Because, I mean, I think my sound's okay. I could be wrong. That went well. That went really well. If I would get 1 C for every flame-thrown plant lady I run past, I would have 1 C. A flame-throwing plant lady? I mean, I'd hope you can only have one, because multiple flame-thrown plant ladies sounds terrible. I'd rather you help. Well, I'll try. I'll see what we can do. 1 cent. I thought that's what you meant. But just in case. We can see what we can do. Discord. There you go, my dear. My plant lady has a flamethrower, which is a strange combination. It is! It is a bit. Normally plant-based people wouldn't really want to have flamethrowers, but maybe she wants to live on the wild side. You want to set the forest on fire. Well, that's detrimental. But fair enough, some people want to watch the world burn. Are you having a good night there? Right, need to find... Oh, I'm Tarzan. I nearly missed. Oh. Fucking hell. Like friggin' George of the Jungle? Only you can prevent forest fire. Well, according to that bear, yeah. Not if you got a fucking flamethrowing plant lady, though. Feel like you're gonna be a bit of a cause then. There's still no Toby on there, is there? No. Can I do that? No! Great, okay. Just gotta find it on our own. Back up here. Nope. No, I don't want to talk to you. Go away. Are you Kadachi? Kadachi! More Kadachi? Oh! Fabulous. Kadachi! How you doing? There it is. Well, asshole. That was my own fault. I started going on wild mode. I just got here. Really? Really? Where the fuck you going? Where? You fucking flappy bastard. So how you doing, Ollie? How is it going? How's your day been? Oop. Nope, jump, jump, up, 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 up. Up we go. No, we don't. Okay, fine. That was a glitch. Ha! Uh-oh. Whee! Nope. Deserve that. And because of that, I am really, really looking forward to May, so I can order PC parts. Want to stream me burning down the forest. Ooh, nice! That will be cool. I will tune in. Because I am intrigued. Get down! Finally uploaded the Phasmo event on Xbox. Good! What game we're playing that burns down first? I wondered why you hadn't asked that question yet. Oh, no, I've just been punched in the face. Oh!
She keeps hacking and whacking and smacking. She uses hacks, whacks and chops the meat.
Yeah, I do. It's what the people want! I'm in the Discord. Yay! I'm gonna die. Oh, no, I'm not. Oh, bitch! Thank you for the biddies, though. Sorry, I should have said that already. That was rude. I appreciate it. Stop it. Oh, what? What? Oh, you stupid little pink people. Damn it. If you played much Fallout, that might make sense. I've played a lot of Fallout 4 and 76. I didn't play any of the previous ones. My first experience... Where'd the Kadachi go? Oh. My first experience of playing Fallout was 4. And... Excuse me. And, when I tried to play 76 and stuff, the TISM wouldn't allow the graphics. I couldn't do it. Oh.
You, my girl, are amazing.
Stop it! You could have used that to get food. But thank you. Stop it! In the bum. Oh wow, there's lots of stuff falling off him.
Food is less important than you.
To you, maybe. I would prefer it if you ate. Jesus. Thank you again. Stop it! Pretty sure that song is in Fallout 4. Well, Fallout 3. Butch, Pete, Ron Brown did. I'm gonna have to listen to them. Like, actually put the lyrics in and try and find the song and see if I recognise it. I love Fallout 4. I always get the urge to stop playing it again. That's why I want to play Atomfall. I'll turn that back up. Oh, I dropped the mouse again. God damn it. He's a bad dragon. He is a bad dragon, Terry. Very right. The bad, bad dragon. Whenever I do, I spend more time modding the yeah. Yeah. It's like post-apocalyptic Sims sometimes. There are many a time I have went on Fallout 4, I've put like all the decorating kind of mod things on, and I have full on played Sims, then went and killed some zombies when I got bored, and then came back and played Sims. Obviously, I mean, I'm still on Fallout, but the fact that I can just decorate everywhere. And I always get the mod where you can remove the rubble, because it pisses us off. I made a nice little fucking place for these people to live. And they're gonna put tiny bits of rocks and stuff that I don't think so. Ah, I keep forgetting I gotta press buttons. Sorry. I'll do it then. I pressed the button that time. Boop. Oh. Yep, boop. Before I left Qatar, I was trying to figure out mods for Repo. Never worked with mods. Boop. What mods would you even get on Repo? Oh, look at that boop. It's cute. Reverse boop.
One subspecies left to investigate. Just leave records and analysis to me.
I remember when we last played Repo, you told me to put you down. Yeah, so do I. You fell and died. I did. I did. And then you kept picking us up and throwing us back in the pit. Picking us up and throwing us back in the pit. And do you know what he had the audacity to say? Oh, it's doing it by itself. I've got no control over this. And yes, that's my impression of you now. Sledge on Repo sounds like me on Phasmo. Yeah. Funny though. And he follows us around being like, what do we have in the Repo house? A streamer I follow uses mods. She uses something that does all the mods for you. Oh. Most of the Repo mods are hair, clothes, be Repo dude. Oh, okay, that one I think would be cool. I've seen a few of them. And I did wonder where they got it from. That makes sense. Only when he's with Jack. Them two together. I mean, they're kind of funny. They do just nick off and do their own thing, though. And return with golf carts. And sometimes mobs of enemies. We are awful. I'll go ask. She's on right now. Be right back. Okie dokie. I want to do Meet the Repo Crew a Meet the Repo Crew trend. Or is that like a TikTok thing? I sound really old now, don't I? Is that one of those TikTok things? I mean, the golf cart was handy though. Well, I say the golf cart was handy. It wasn't after I can't drive that thing for fucking shit. To be old, you'd have to call it the ticky-tocky. I might now. The old ticky-tocky. You're letting about your heart then, though. Own that shit. Oh, Terry, have you seen the new... When did Twitch make this emote? Hang on. Have you seen that? It's called They Ate. The fuck is that? As far as I'm concerned, and I could be wrong, but I don't give a fuck, that is a drag queen eating a chicken drumstick because they ate. If they do a drag queen with a knife that says slay, I am fucking there. 100%. Give me that emote. I'll use the shit out of it. I'll be fabulous. Gobbling that chicken. Gobbling damn meat. Yeah, you should probably get a spray bottle at the ready. I know I'm getting old when I don't know what they ate means. They did well. I think. They were preemptive. I always thought it just meant they did really well. Yeah, it shows a friends playing Repo, and it goes, meet the crew, shows the friends and says, Panda Pop's the crew's mom, Duchess is the victim, gets attacked by all the monsters in the game, and so on. Oh! No spray bottles! Oh! Gotcha. You're expecting filth always. Have you met us? For mods for Repo. I'll have to look into it. See, I was gonna what other game was I gonna mod? I'm not very good with mods. I was gonna mod something. I can't remember what game it was. I'm sure it was Cyber that showed us like where he gets some of the mods for the things, and I couldn't figure it out. And to be honest, my laptop can only do so much pool bloody thing. Is that the monster I want? I've never modded anything. No, neither have I. I've used, like, you know, cheat codes on The Sims and stuff like that, but I've never actually modded anything. I can show you when you want to know. I know. Only downside of Repo, to be honest, is the wait time before revive or end of level. I feel bad making people wait. I get what you mean. It is a bit of a pain. And of course, there was that time when all of you had died, and I didn't know because I was just off doing my own merry little fucking Tismic thing. And then I found you, and I was like, oh. You've just been watching me wander around like a fucking arsehole. So I get what you mean, but at the same time, it's kind of like expected, innit? Then you shouldn't die. Well, sometimes that's easier said than done, because sometimes you get sabotaged and people kill you and drop you down holes and stuff. Or they shout bogeys behind your head when the blind man's there and get you shot. I know, but you're really good at it. Yeah. Just wait till we play Phasmo again. I'm looking forward to it. I actually did not expect to enjoy that game as much as I did. Right, where are you telling us to go? Over here. Whoa, Tarzan! Woo! Couldn't do that again if I tried. I am. It's my not-so-hidden superpower. That and looking at the clock at exactly the right time. I don't know what time it is. Oh, I'm not very good at looking at it when the time matches, am I? It's time for Big Brother. Do they still even do Big Brother? They probably do. I don't really watch TV, so... Hello? There's one on now, is there? Celeb one? Oh god, who's the celebs in it? My friend group was playing off stream, and I was wandering off from the group, making stuff on the map. I thought everyone was dead, and I was singing I Will Survive. My friend popped around the corner and I screamed. Nobody, like always, yeah. Jojo, oh god, not that fucker. Is busy trying to fuck a man, even though she's a lesbian. Make it make sense. She's a cunt. That's how. She's an absolute wanker. I'm sure she's a really nice person, but for the most part, I think she's a dick. From what I've seen of her. Everything I know about that person I've learnt against me will. I thought you meant the last that responded to him. Was her name Jojo? I thought, no, the one that responded to him was called Frankie, wasn't she? Jojo was the teenage lassie. I did all them that Leave Get Out, which is a bop, by the way. Typical of the generation. It's a joke. I mean, it's hit and miss, innit? Not all of them. No, it was Jojo. Are you sure? I mean, evidently you'll be sure. You'll be looking it up. I thought the one that responded to Eamon, or whatever the fuck his name was called Frankie. With fuck you right back. I can't remember what I'm meant to be looking for. Anjanath, right. I had a massive crush on her at the time. That's fair. I don't know why I mixed her and fucking Jojo. It happens. It's age. Age. Don't worry about it. Was Frankie and she had a mole on her face? I thought. Was Frankie Raymond? Aye. I thought. Because I used to get her and that Stacey. I can never say her last name. Is it Oracle? I really like her songs as well. And I can't remember her name properly. But she had the big mole on her face as well. I used to get her and that Frankie mixed up. Even though, like, just like Eamon, that Frankie had one song and then fucked off. Probably for the best. Too Little Too Late was a bop back in the day. Yeah, it was. Fair. I wouldn't have. Not my cup of tea. At the same time? Or... Obviously. I mean... Fair, yeah. Hello! Excuse me. Excuse the fuck out of me, bitch. I did the swing thing and everything. Thank you. Funny you should say that, because neither does my character. I didn't eat again. Bollocks. Well, it's gonna be fun. Run, Purple Dino, run! Fucking come back here, you flaming T-Rex. Don't listen! I've got sweets in the back of the van. I really shouldn't say that on Twitch, actually, never mind. Haha! Now listen here, you furry purple bastard. Yeah!
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Maybe a little bit. Haha. I'm gonna pay for that. What kind of sweets? The bestest kind. What kind of sweet you like? Asking for a friend. missed me, bitch. Didn't miss me that time, though. Oh, really? Come back here. I only have a small amount of stamina. Shut up. Ooh! I think more or less every lad in my class back in the day fancied Jojo. Yeah, probably. I'm pretty sure most lasses I went to school with wanted to be just like her. Excuse me, be blinded, motherfucker. Thank you. Rude. Jesus. Ha! Oh no! Cheryl Cole is a used kebab. What the fuck did I just look down at? She is a very pretty used kebab though, you have to admit that. I'm so lost on this conversation. So, do you know who Cheryl Cole is? Have you ever heard of her? I know she's not big over in the US. She was a singer in a girl group over here called Girls Aloud, and then she went solo. She ended up in that girl group because of part of them talent TV shows where they end up putting people together. But she is a very pretty woman. You know, Megan... Well, she's a very pretty woman. And she's a bit of an arsehole, apparently. But she was extremely popular when we were younger. She had a baby with Liam out of One Direction. Which is mental, because he's like, in his auditions, because she was a judge, in his auditions he's 13 and he's winking at her and being like, oh yeah, Cheryl Cole. Little did he know, 10 years later, he's in. Knocked up and everything. Living the teenage dream. I had a poster of Cheryl on my wall. Just send it. Ooh, move, 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 move. Ooh, ow, bad. She is still around. She ended up getting a bad rep though. I can't remember why. I mean, she was groomed as well, to be fair. So, you know. Oh, I need to heal. Move. Nope, never mind. I'll just die. Because of MGK. No, it was before MGK. She got shunned well before then. She got shunned in the second Transformers movie. I'm sure it was after the second one. They said it was diva behaviour. But I don't know. Because obviously it came out now that a lot of people that were deemed to have diva behaviour, this time 10, 15, 20 years ago, actually just turned around and said no to getting their tits out or something because they didn't want to do it. And then they were deemed a diva. And blah, 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 blah. But sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. I don't know. I never really kept up with it, to be honest. I just know something happened during one of the movies. It was either the first one or the second one. And they broke her contract and replaced her with Jason Statham's missus. for the third one. Is it the third one? And she never got hired. After that, it took her years to end up getting back. She just got little gigs here and there. Said Michael Bay was like Hitler on set, from what I just read. Oh. I mean, standing out and saying stuff about your director will definitely get you shunned from future roles, like. Even if it's true. Not that I'm saying it was true, you know what I mean, though. Regardless of the truth behind it. They do tend to have more power than you do. Or more sway. Right, where the fuck is this fucking dinosaur over here? Right. A lot of people talk crap about Bay. Well, a lot of people used to talk, you know, look at Weinstein or whatever his name was. He was big for years, wasn't he? And it didn't matter what people were saying, and now all of a sudden he's a massive pervert, so... The truth will out eventually. I get my tits out for the fun of it. I mean, to be fair, I feel like when you're in the limelight, or it doesn't even matter when you're in the limelight, to be honest. In any area of life, there's going to be people that'll absolutely sing your praises, and there's going to be people that'll say you're the worst fucking person I've ever met. There'll be people out there that think I'm an absolute nightmare, and some of them will be justified, because if you give me reason to, I will be a fucking nightmare in your life. Simple. Everyone, there's always going to be people that think you're great and people that think you're shite. 9 times out of 10, the people that think you're shite is because of what they did to you, but never mind. It's still true. Exactly. Preach! I also don't think you should be ashamed of that there's people out there that think you're fucking horrible, because if there was a reason behind it, fuck yeah. Damn right I was an absolute prick to you. Tell them why. Go on, tell them why. See what happens. From what I remember, during the film of the second Transformers, she said Bay wanted her to show more skin. And they had to retake a shot because Bay had OCD or something. I mean, that doesn't surprise us. I'd be very surprised to find a director that didn't have, like... not necessarily OCD, but who wasn't very critical of his work. You know what I mean? They've ended up becoming good at their job for a reason. I mean, look at Tarantino. You know, in Inglourious Bastards, where the scene where I can never remember this woman's name, Diane something, where she's getting choked, and it's meant to be by Christopher Waltz's character. He's not the one strangling her. Tarantino wasn't happy with the way it looked, so he is literally strangling her. Like, she is bright red in the face and looking like she's about to die because that man's literally just like, okay, this is what we're doing. Can I not put a shock trap down? Why not? But why can't I put a trap down? Bullshit. What's going on now? Exactly, see? Everyone can be the biggest arsehole in the world if you push them. Granted, some people are just big arseholes, okay? But you know, Hitler had best friends. He was even married, for God's sake. I have arsehole mode on by default. I think you're quite lovely. Well, that was rude. I'm having a conversation. Yeah. How'd you like them apples? Bitch. words aren't for everyone. I do both. I verbally rip new ones and then I physically try to rip new ones. I bring the cookies. Nice. So they got cannabis in them. Now see, unpopular opinion on that one, right? I think if a woman hits you, she ain't gonna be holding back, is she? So why the fuck do you have to just stand there and take it? If I fucking punch a man, I 100 expect him to punch me back, and I do not expect him to hold back, because like fucking shit am I holding back when I punch you? Nah. I was raised, one, everyone goes on about equality and everyone's all down for equality until it comes to a man punching a woman, ain't there? Or until there's a spider in the room. Alright, what did I miss? Because I was busy trying to hack the purple dinosaur. I was going to play along, but decided to behave for once. I sent a TikTok to a friend about not being famous, but someone's therapist knows my name. And his reply was that his does it. I went 2 different ways with that. What on earth? Oh dear. A dinosaur. Exactly, that's where it is, isn't it? It's a T-Rex. Ads in 30 seconds. Ads starting. Thank you, darling. Trained him yet? What? Where? Who? What have I missed? Who am I training? What's going on? Right, Sledge. Don't bother, his gag reflex is awful. I'm caught up now. Damn it, I wanted to clip that equality speech. Should I give it again? I'll put the VOD up if you really want to go through and find it. Was it worth the read? It was. It was. Haven't had a chance. He's too busy shitting his arse on stream for you and Panda. Damn right he is. What do you mean they didn't come up? Will you stop spending bits, lad? And hello, Harold. Sorry. Hello, darling. How are you? I do, though. I do agree. If you want equality, then you get equality. If I smack a man, he should smack me back. I shouldn't get a privilege of not being able, well, being able to unleash all my rage on someone and not having it in return just because I've got boobs. No. No ta. If you're willing to swing, you should be willing to receive a swing. That being said, obviously I don't mean like... So say, and I think this applies across the board as well, to be honest.
Ninja eventually, with the outside of the cloud kill spell, was able to get... Or no, she saved and was still standing, so she was able to get Lae'zel up and then was able to hypnotize Balthazar with Asterion, which then ended the cloud kill. So then Lae'zel was able to get up, and then Lae'zel resurrected Harold a little bit away, and then we were able to like kind of rally and come together and actually like eke out a win. And even though Harold died in the moment and then came back, like it's like Harold was able to live up to the moment. So I think like she's actually making him into the man that he had always hoped.
Good. I want to play Baldur's Gate 3 so bad. Yes, how are you, Harold? How's it going? But yeah, sorry. So as much as I'm saying, you know, if they punch you, you punch them. I do agree that should go across board. One thing I do say though,
just leave records and analysis to me.
if, and this goes both ways, if I were to hit a bloke and he would hit me and I went down, which I'm probably going to, if they would then continue and start beating on you when you're on the floor, no, I don't agree with that. But I don't agree with that if a woman does it. Once they're on the floor, you leave them alone. You've won, essentially. They're on the floor. Leave them alone. I feel like it's overkill. I understand you can get carried away in the moment and stuff, but that's where I'm like, behave yourself. Hello, Harvestist. How are you doing, my dear? I'll give you a shouty when the ad's over. That goes for both sexes. Once someone's down, fight's over. Exactly, that's what I mean. I think both ways. But that's the only time I'd say someone's sort of like out of line. But I also understand you get carried away. Well, no, that's what I mean. I understand if you get carried away. Once a bloke's on the floor, it's tickle time. The visual of, like, can you imagine boxing matches where the fella goes on the floor and then all of a sudden they're just like, ticka, ticka, ticka? No. No, I mean, I know, calm down. You're fine. Calm down. Mind me not fall on the floor near you. No. Can you imagine? I might have to nip to the pub. Enjoy! Have a good one. Right, what did we get off that? I'm not even checking what we're getting, I'm just fucking... Let's go do this one. Let's go do that one. Right, hang on, what was that one? What did we get? Right, that was something for... That's something for eating? Oh, it doesn't tell us because I've already got them. Well, as long as you're calm. Harold, once I get a guy on the floor, he's mine. I'll drag him by the hair into the cave and make him mine. Damn right you will. What if he has no hair? Plunger! Just saying. I stopped fighting men when I got pregnant with Rora. Growth. I like it. Fucking plunger. Yeah? They can be a unicorn. This one's not telling us either. Hold up, which hair are we talking about? I suppose it depends which one's longest. It's a me, Mario. You get to one-up them in the cave. Hey, I'll see myself out. What on earth does my chats fucking turn into? Honestly, it's great, but like, fucking hell. Suction cup. Yep, that would work. I suppose you could count that as a plunger. Now, I'm never getting drunk near any of you. Got long hair and bad balance. You'd be fine. I mean, if you've got long hair and bad balance, we'll just tie your hair around a bar or something, and then you'll never fall over. You just kind of hang there. It's Harold that'll drag you into a cave. Better than mine. Mine's just thirst trap most of the time. Well, you shouldn't be so fucking dishy, should you? Just saying. Not gonna be the first to fall asleep with a sleepover around you guys. I'd either be tickled to death or dragged into a cave. I mean, the second part doesn't sound too bad, really. Or both. Yeah, see? Yeah. Because once you're on the ground, you get tickled, then suction cup cave. Boom. Harold will be like, who's your daddy? He can drag me wherever he wants. Oh, he can he? I see how it is. Mean tote. Fuck off. Wake up, duct tape to the ceiling. To be fair, I'd be slightly fucking impressed at that mind. I'd be like, where did you get this tape? I'm sturdy. This is impressive. We got a wallpaper paste advert. We'll get over here. The second people start tickling, it's when their faces get broken. I mean, yeah, to be fair, yeah. The next day when everyone finds out, Harold, Jesus, too far, mate, too far. Joke's on you, I want to be broken. Oh dear. Rather. Oh no, I pressed the wrong button. Hang on.
Yeah.
What the hell happened on that one? Enough duct tape and you'd be surprised what you can do. Fair. I can agree with that. Totally haven't woke up being taped to the wall or ceiling. Thankfully, neither have I. I mean, I'd kind of rather not. I'd probably have a fucking allergic reaction, knowing me. I've got enough stuff going on. I'm antisocial, no touchy. That's true. That is true. Did someone say tape? They did. They did. No, that is true. I'm also antisocial, no touchy. For the most part. There are exceptions to the rule. You agree with me? Yeah. No. I'm not fucking waking up being taped to a fucking ceiling. That's just weird. Fucking 3 times have I? The bastards. Hang on, you've woke up taped to a ceiling 3 times? Like, are they still on the ceiling? I have cousins. Thought it was funny. Fair. Fair. My cousins just do drugs. It's fine. Right. What am I even doing? Rathian. Thank you, darling. Excuse me. Rude. What are you doing? Can you hit? Can you hit? Thank you. Nope, nope, you can't. Oh no, it's gone. Okay. They are. I'm waiting. I'm just waiting for the day that they fall off the ceiling and just twat you in the face, because that'll be such a good clip. Such a good clip. Oh, I'm poisoned. Oh dear. After the 3rd time, I learned to stay awake from Friday night when I got home on Sunday. Jesus Christ! That is intense. I don't think they're ever coming down. There. Do they glow? Are they glow in the dark ones? That'd be cool. I'm getting distracted and I keep forgetting what we're meant to be hunting because I'm enjoying the conversation because he is so weird as fuck. No, unfortunately. Oh. We'll get some glow in the dark ones and put them up there as well. My cousins are arseholes. I mean, to be fair, family normally is. Do a just chat and stream. I could. But you can guarantee as soon as I like put it on a just chatting thing, I'll brain fart and not know what to talk about, and I'll be dead boring. How are you doing, Harmacist, if you are still here? How is it going? I thought you'd be at work. I'm not weird. I'm special. Same thing. Quirky. Where is this fucking dragon? Actually, is it a dragon or is it a wyvern? Nope. Back at Saturday. Right in time for the drinks. Ooh. Kind of. No, mind you. Right in time for the drunks for you. Not ideal. I'm the embodiment of chaos incarnate. I love it. And everyone would leave the Monster Hunter stream. Yeah, they would leave for a Monster Hunter stream, that's fair. I mean, to be fair. Where the fuck am I going now? Oh my god, stop flying away! Mom said I could be anything, so I grew up to become a problem, right? My pronouns are uh-oh and oops. It's fucking flying off, okay? Swear down. Is anyone actually here to see monsters? We're here for terrible gameplay. Oh, oh, Tarzan moment. Ah. Fucking skull. I really don't want to go to work night. But I don't get my PTO till tomorrow. Oh. So you kind of have to. Just think of the pennies. Think of the pennies. I'm just here, but bear back. Need to take some chicken. Take some chicken up the hill. Sorry? That's a new one. I wasn't expecting that. Pennies is right, I know. Right, can I hit you now? Thank you. Oh no. Ah! Leave me alone.
Money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle. For sure.
Just because you are amazing.
You're gonna get wrong. My aunt lives up the hill from my dad. Can do a little stream on my phone after it charges. Ooh, nice.
Money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle. For sure.
Did you just have one left?
Money don't jiggle jiggle. Always
oh, didn't.
For sure. Money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle. For sure.
Are you trying to break it or something? Yes, didn't.
Money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle.
Boy, I will time your ass out.
Money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle. For sure.
You need to fucking bait. You could have done 5 at once. Or you could have just kept them. Oh.
Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle. For sure.
My money doesn't jiggle jiggle. It's wasted on bits for Twitch, for sure.
Then stop wasting your money on Twitch. Problem solved. Huh? Thank you. I appreciate you both. The fucking pack it in. Oh my god. Peak of fucking cringe. Little bit, little bit. Woo! Oh shit. It's not that I don't appreciate you guys, you little motherfucker.
Money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure.
Right, now I'm dropping frames.
Money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure.
See what you done? See what you done?
Money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure.
Stop it!
My money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure. My money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure. My money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure.
Oh my god.
My money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure. My money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure.
Do you know what makes it worse? I can hear them both laughing their fucking heads off. Like, I can hear it.
My money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure. My money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure. My money don't jiggle jiggle.
Oh, Harold, don't you start.
Wiggle wiggle for sure.
It's safe.
My money
I shouldn't have
don't
said that.
jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure. My money don't jiggle jiggle.
I'm gonna get sick of that song. I appreciate you very, very much. Behave yourself!
Money don't jiggle jiggle.
Fuck.
Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure.
You, I'll get you back.
Always I like to see you wiggle.
How many subs off 100 are you now? We can just get it straight back up to 100, that's fine. I've just been paid.
To see you wiggle wiggle for sure. My money don't jiggle jiggle.
Oh, you think I'm playing? Okay.
To see you wiggle wiggle for sure.
Okay.
My money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure. My money don't
Which way am I gonna go?
Always I like to see you wiggle
Wrong way.
for sure.
Can't say which way
My
am I
money
going?
don't jiggle jiggle.
Will you
Always I like to see
stop?
wiggle wiggle for sure.
You just want to see him squat again? All I've got to do is ask.
My money don't jiggle jiggle.
Harold!
Always I like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure.
Thank you. Stop it! I appreciate you, but stop it. See? Told you.
Money don't jiggle jiggle. Always I
Foxy!
like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure.
God damn it! Now look what you did. Thank you, but stop it. I have a brilliant plan to escape karma. If I start streaming, it's only going to be late night my time. Because then all of you in the UK will be asleep. Not all of us. Some of us don't know what sleep is.
Money don't jiggle jiggle. Oh, I'd like to see you wiggle wiggle.
Oops, I slipped. Fuck off.
Oops, sorry, I slipped.
That's what you need, a stop emote. I mean, I could probably make one. Ooh, do you know what else I need? Fucking health. God damn.
Money don't jiggle jiggle. It falls. I'd like to see you wiggle wiggle. For sure.
You deserve it all.
My money don't jiggle jiggle. It falls. I'd like to see you wiggle wiggle. For sure.
I deserve to be listened to. Stop it. Oh no, gonna get set on fire. It's not that I don't appreciate it, I'm just awkward and just stop it. God damn. Thank you. What would I just have the words stop it? Probably. Rathian material. Where did I cut it? It's probably gone. I can't remember where the tail came off. Where's the material? Not over here. Thank you. So how's everybody's evening? A panda with a stop sign and the word stop under it. That could work. Sign. Well, I've read sign anyway, so you're good. I don't know what we get from that.
Money don't jiggle jiggle. It falls. I'd like to see you wiggle wiggle. For sure.
Good, lovely. How about you?
My night's going well, thank you.
Good night.
Night, love y'all. I'm gonna have to try and not be so loud now. Good luck with that. Do 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 do. So where's my water? I think now everybody's gone quiet. Hello?
One subspecies left to investigate.
Thank you very much for the
Just
hype
leave
train.
records and analysis to me.
I'm playing Palworld. Ooh! How far are you in Palworld? I need to get back on that. I'm racing myself to max level on someone's server. Ooh. Hi, Griffin. Hi, baby. Are you being kicked out? Okay. Oh. Oh. Hello.
Greetings.
Hi. Oh yeah, there was a thing to hand in. See, this is what happens when I get distracted.
Splendid.
Splendid. Delivery. So we've got that one. Mega fertilizer. Nice. Oh, we're at the 3-hour marker. I'll do one more. So we've got the turkey dinosaur, Barry, water slug thing, another Athian. I say myself because no one else on here is on enough to be considered an opponent. That is fair. That is fair. How's your back? I've hit the 3 hours. I know, but I think I'll do one more. I'm okay. Danger lamp. Barry. Okay, let's do a Barry. How are you doing, Mr. Maxwell? How's everything going? That'll probably be the best camp for a Barry. Manage items. I'm good. 50k to become a VIP. I'm a man of focus, commitment, and sheer will. You got this. And yeah, I figured it was like a reasonable number. Need one of them. But yes, don't worry. I am fine. Promise. Should probably take one of them as well, actually. Doing just fine. Playing COD with the harm assist. Ooh, are you winning? How are you doing? I'm good. I'm good. Only 30k to go. You got this.
It falls. I like to see you wiggle, wiggle, for sure.
My last bitties now, don't worry.
You've said that before, and then suddenly went, oops, I lied. And dropped more. Second a few times now. Ooh. I'm not. I'm not.
That wing drake really pitched a fit.
Why are they not, like, why are none of them landing near where... Oh, what's that? That was a squirrel and a half moment, wasn't it? Oh! Cool. So sometimes up there, or up here, you will find a very rare songbird that you can catch with your net, just so you know. I'm off to collect digital cars in a Hot Wheels simulator. Thanks for the laughs and stream as always. Catch you later. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Have a good time with your collection. I wish you well. Sneaks back in. I'm a sneaky snake. But yeah, why the wind drakes not working right now? They're not going anywhere near where we asked them to go. It's very rude. Ivy. Ivy. Itchy eyebrow. So we'll do this one to get the Barry, and then we will raid somebody. Don't know who yet, though. Yeet. GG! What was supposed to be a 1 hour nap turned into a 5 hour nap. Where am I? You're in Panda's stream. Yeah. Thank you, love.
One enemy remaining.
Spike now. I see the spike. Fedt. Sæt en mur foran. Du kan stadigvæk hoppe over min vej.
Finally woke up, I see.
Ja, men hun kan hoppe over mig. Ja. Bare lad hende komme forbi.
$30 seconds left.
Still hungry.
Nice.
Jeg vil bare have en som opmærksomhed over min.
Oh, wrong button. So how are you doing after your nap? Don't be sorry, Shadow. That was funny. All right. Is that all right because you're still not with it, or just like, yeah, I'm fine? I don't need that. Both. Fair. Excuse me, I fucking booped. Fucking boop boop. Ooh. Have you got much planned with the rest of your night? Any hunt showdowns or anything like that? Oh, missed one. Oh, I thought the cactuar might have been there. Oh, hello! Fuck it, boop boop! Are you done? Really? Really? Thank you. You don't have to shout that much. It's unnecessary. I don't think so. Don't really have any plans. That's fair. No, hit. There we go. Woo! Ooh, that was nice. So I have my partially divided attention. Oh, thanks. Will you just... Thanks. Oh wow, he's now dead already. Ooh. Run that way, run that way. Who would think? brief. Shut up. Right. Thunderbug. Whee! What's this one? Slash spray. If it works for audio, I mean, fair. Fair. Right, so we will save after this, and then we will raid out. I don't know who we're going to raid, though. We'll have to see who's still online. Do, 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 do. Well, at least we're getting a lot more gems now. Which is definitely needed to progress in Iceborne. Right. Let's have a look. Come on. You can do it. Maybe. There we go.
One subspecies left to investigate.
Yes,
Just leave
yes, I know.
records and analysis to me.
Okay. Let's swap over. Oh, I closed it, didn't I? Hang on. That's not what I want to listen to. That's not what I want to listen to either. Click the thing I'm clicking. Thank you. Okay, so should we find someone to raid? Do do do. That is working, right? Yes. Very quiet though. Can you hear that? Good. Okay, so our options are... We've got Phasmophobia with a few people. Overwatch 2. Mass Effect's Legendary Edition. Human Revolution? Or Bard is playing something called Mandragora Whispers of the Witch Tree. Or Repo. Or we can find someone playing Monster Hunter. And don't say my choice, I asked you. Ooh. I dropped the keyboard. I know. Let me see those hands. That's such a cop-out answer. I knew you were going to do that. I knew it. Terrible. Do you know what? We haven't raided these in a while. That's fair enough. I admire the honesty. I was gonna say, are you gonna hit send? Hang on, so you don't miss the song. I mean, that's a clip. Right, so... follower. Subscriber. I'll copy and paste it, don't worry. And I will get around to doing that on the other thing. I'll just keep forgetting. Subscriber. I looked at the wrong place for the camera there. Bye. I need to start the raid. That would really help. Okay, lovely bunch. Well, thank you very much for being here with us tonight. I will be back tomorrow. I actually will be. Sorry I was off last weekend. Bad weekend. So we'll be back tomorrow with Wilds. And I don't know if we'll be doing it solo or if we'll be on with potentially someone else again. But we will find out tomorrow, really. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the hype train. Pain the bums. I'm rather fond of you though, so I'll let you off this time. And yeah, I will see you all tomorrow. Bye for now. Have a good night. Bye.